Hello everyone and welcome to Warlock Plays. This will be a brand new segment with me, Pickles, otherwise known as Warlock 7 Razor. Now you may have seen my name pop up in Deacon's Battletech gameplays that he's been doing for about the last month and a half. They are fantastic. If you haven't seen them yet, you should definitely go and check it out. Anyway, this game is Orcs Must Die. It came out in 2011, so it's a bit of an older game. It is by Robot Entertainment. They've done a couple other things for computers and actually some mobile games as well. Anyway, it's been a while since I've played this tower defense slash action game combo, so it's effectively going to be brand new for me, despite there being some downloadable content that will be enabled. So we're going to go ahead and press go. There'll be a bit of a cutscene and then we'll jump right into the gameplay.
I've spent 300 years fighting for the Order. I've killed thousands of orcs and defended dozens of rifts. And this is how it ends. One slip and a kobold's blood, and my skull cracks open on the gatehouse steps. So now the task of defending this fortress falls to my apprentice. That's it, then. The world is doomed.
It's all up to me now. Rest well, crazy old man. First things first. Let's see what he left me in this spell book.
So in this game, as the cutscene tells you, you're playing a knight, or in this case you're not quite a knight yet, of some order, protecting these rifts. And orcs will come in through gates such as this, and you can see that they're trying to break in right now, but they won't come in until I press go. And we have weapons available to us, in this case a crossbow and then a blade staff. The crossbow is apparently locked in, blade staff is extra. We also have all sorts of traps that we can apply to walls and floors, ceilings, all sorts of fun things. We'll be unlocking a lot more as time goes on. We also have additional gear such as these vampiric gauntlets and alchemist satchels. Those gears use mana, which you have a limited supply of, although it regenerates over time. Some levels may also have buddies like this that help you out, but not every level does. So we're going to go ahead and check out this area. We have some walls that we can place traps on, but I don't really have a whole lot in the way of wall traps. We have some sticky traps right here, and then we just have some spike traps. So I think what we're going to go ahead and do is, we don't really have any room for ceiling traps here either. So what we'll go ahead and do is we'll put down some spike traps, and then a tar trap. And in case I have some extra coins or currency or whatnot, we'll put down some floor scorchers. These are good for hosing down a bunch of enemies in one go. So I think what we might want to do is put down some floor scorchers here. We have room for 2 of them. It'll take up most of my mana, but we can slow down some bad guys here. And we can freely sell these for 100% of their mana cost, or dollar cost, or whatever you would want to call it. But I think we're good to go. So let's go fight some orcs. As you can see, they'll start coming through.
Here they come!
Now, you can always shoot orcs and get them yourself. And you'll want to do that because sometimes those traps, the traps aren't as effective as you might want them to be. Potions, get some healing, things like that. Crossbows can rapid fire in case of trouble. I wouldn't recommend rapid firing like that though. Headshots seem to be the most effective. So we do gain extra money from each kill, so we can go ahead and set down more traps, like more tar traps here. And those enemies will be getting tougher and more numerous as those waves come on, just like as usual in tower defense games. Now you'll note that those traps do have reset timers. They don't activate constantly. Each trap has its own different reset timer, and so you'll want to leverage those to get the most out of your defense strategy.
What a mess!
Come on, there we go.
Bye-bye, evil guys! What a mess!
That was not the best time to trigger all of those. We can also place traps while we're playing. Those spike traps are very effective.
Let's do it again!
Yeah, the spike traps are fairly effective. Let's place some up front here. Maybe we can kill some orcs before we reach our scorchers, since these guys take a while to fire. You'll notice that traps don't hurt me, which is nice. Orcs will though. Don't get close.
Good times, good times.
The more orcs you kill in a row, the higher combos you will get. They do give you more resources if you kill them with a combo. So if you're good at linking things together, you can actually earn some extra cash from that. But I'll be honest, I'm not the best. My playstyle also favors crossbows and kind of some long-range work, so it doesn't work the best for me.
Ugh, what a mess.
Now I believe you're supposed to be able to zoom in with the crossbow, but I don't remember how. It might be an upgrade to the crossbow that I just don't have yet. It might be a key binding I don't remember. I didn't see it on that previous screen, so we'll see what happens.
Is that all you got?
I didn't realize that guy was still around. I thought the spike trap got him. Well, that is the first level. We got through with all 20 health, so that's going to be a full 5 skulls on that level. And now we can get some upgrades. You use these skulls to purchase those upgrades. And upgrades may be short snares like this point with the spike trap, so they'll get stuck with the spikes and then stop moving. With Floor Burner, you get, instead of a 1x2, I believe is what it currently is, you get a 2x3, I think, so it covers a much wider area. This will be a fantastic upgrade to get as soon as you can afford it, but it does take a little while to get. And then your Sticky Tar Trap. Traps slow enemies even more. That'll be very useful for some crowd control later on, but you'll see we have not enough skulls for anything, so we can move on to the next level. We'll go ahead and do one more of these levels, and then I need to pause it and take a quick break. So we're getting a new trap this level. This one goes up on the wall, so it makes good covering for corners. So let's go ahead and check out what we've got.
Aha! With the old man dead and my apprenticeship finally over, I can draw on the full power of the rift. I'll get a new toy to play with every time I defend a rift.
Okay, so we have 2 entrances. The game likes to split up one entrance at a time, but in this case, both of these are getting pounded on, so both of them might spawn at the same time, I'm not sure. You'll notice they do funnel down into one column, again, one hallway if you will. And we do have a guardian here that's going to help protect the rift, but he can really only defend against one orc at a time. So we want to prevent orcs from getting close to him to begin with. So we'll open up, oh, we have an extra slot, so that'll be useful. Let's go ahead and take the same loadout as before. Actually, let's reorder those just a little bit. I'm weird like that, and I think that's good. So I don't know which of these are going to spawn first, so we don't want to guard over here or over here in case the other one spawns. And let's check it out. So we do have a 2-unit wide hallway again, well, 4 units with a 2x2 trap. So I think we can just go for the same strategy at first. Let's go ahead and do some spikes first. Those actually really helped out earlier. Let's go ahead and put one here and here. And then we'll put down
Gee, I hope nobody gets hurt.
one of those.
No, I don't.
And then let's back up a little bit and we'll put this one here in the center. We'll sell it and move it off to the side a little bit later on. But we're gonna go and let's see who comes out. Okay, it'll be the left side that spawns first. Now if I remembered my levels, that would have been useful information, because we could put an arrow trap up on the entryway. Ah! I am a bit out of practice with shooters and these types of games, so I'll be getting better with this crossbow as I start playing these more often. Oops. Now the crossbow, you'll notice, does not run out of ammo, but it does lose accuracy as I rapid fire. And let's put up an arrow trap right here. Kill some more orcs. Oh,
Nice!
apparently I missed one, but my guardian got him. Excellent, guardian. You've done well. Now they're coming in through the other wall. Now let's see, right here would be fun.
This will be good. In the
So
face!
usually the arrow traps are enough to kill an orc entirely.
Why me?
Must have timed that placement wrong. So just like most tower defense games, to be victorious in some of the more difficult levels, you want to leverage as many surfaces as possible for traps and defenses. You can't, in later levels, you can't really rely on just your crossbow and any guardians you may have.
There it goes again.
So I can sell this one now and get some more. So we'll do 2 instead, and we'll replace this once I have a couple extra coins. But you'll notice that they're coming in from both sides now, so things are going to get tough. Now if I could just get better at my headshots.
Bye-bye, evil guys.
Now remember, you can place traps as you're playing. You don't have to wait for the breaks between rounds. So if you've got the money, go ahead and do one. Now normally the orcs will attack you if you get that close. A little bit fast for them though.
Winning!
There we go.
I think I'm gonna be
Okay.
sick.
Let's go ahead and put up some more traps. I've got money enough for a couple more of these.
This will be good.
And that'll help out a lot.
Bye-bye.
What I like to do is camp by one of the entrances and just try to focus on thinning the horde before it gets close. The more you can cut down from one entrance, especially when the game forces the path to split, the easier defense you're going to have. Let's put up some of these. There we go. Probably should have put up some of those a little earlier, but forgot. Sometimes you do get carried away and shooting orcs yourself. But we did get all 15 of our rift power that level, so we got all 5 stars. And that is enough to purchase some of the smaller upgrades. Let's check out what the arrow wall does. Arrow traps trigger from further out. So it's a range increase. That way they'll target, excuse me, instead of 4 squares, they'll target 6 if I remember correctly. So that might be worthwhile. I still think the floor burner in 2 more levels might be the best bet, but we'll see what happens. Alright, I'm going to pause the recording for just a moment, and we'll be right back. Alright, let's go ahead and do another level. And then I'm going to go ahead and... Oops, wrong button. Ooh, we have boom barrels now. What boom barrels do is, as the fun pictures will show you there, they blow up. Usually what you'll do is you'll either use a trap or your crossbow to set them off. They could be pretty effective, but you gotta place them down each time. They don't respawn. So they are a trap, but you know, they're more useful for emergency situations, I would think. Or if you can catch a big group of them.
Another day, another fortress, another rift to defend. They always seem to break through the doors. We should do something about that.
One of the things you'll notice with this game and everything that Robot Entertainment does is they've actually got some pretty good humor in there. Less, you know, regular comedy and more like some quips and just funny little tidbits, but it always makes me smile. So it looks like we have kind of an Overwatch position right here. It would be nice if we could place down some archers, but unfortunately, you know, we don't have anything like that just yet. Orcs will probably not go up there because there's no real reason for them to. Orcs tend to pathfind along, you know, these little beams of energy that you see moving there. And we don't have any guardians, so we'll want to be careful if orcs reach this far back. You do notice that we do have some triggerable, you know, environment things. So these are here, boiling acid. Those will dump over and do quite a splash down there. And eventually they'll refill. The chandeliers, on the other hand, I don't believe they refill, but all it takes is one crossbow bolt to shoot them down. Now we don't have any immediate defenses here, although we can place them there. We still only have 4 slots, so let's just do that same strategy as before, because I don't think... Actually, some ceiling defenses might be useful here. Let's try out some ceiling defenses instead of that extra burner. Let's see, a ceiling mounted turret. So this one right here, I believe this is one of the DLC items. The burner might be as well, I'm not certain. But these 3 items are DLC as well. They are pretty powerful, but you can see something like the mana well is quite expensive to place on the map. What that does is that lets you refill your mana, which is this blue bar right here. Things like your vampiric gauntlets and eventually other spells that you get will drain that pretty quickly. So it helps to have those if you're focusing on a mage style build. My playstyle is more trap focused, you know, funnel everyone down to a small area and blap them with the crossbow. So you know, those burners might actually still be effective. Let's see. Tell you what, those burners will still be very effective. Let's go ahead and try out that same strategy again. It should work. So what we're going to do is we're going to place that down just like normal. This one, however, is 6 units wide. So eventually one burner here can cover all 3 lanes. We don't have that upgrade yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to place those 3. We're going to do 1 burner.
Last thing you'll ever see.
And then after that, we're going to do some arrow traps. Okay, I can fit 3 here, so that's fine. We'll do 1 there, and then as soon as I get some money, we'll put some more right there. Let's see, that should be good, since I'm only 200 away from the next arrow trap. So let's do it.
Here they come!
Now the reason I like putting those tar traps down in front of burners is that once the orcs start concentrating up, it tends to slow them down and bunch them up in front of the burner.
They're under the bridge!
Yep. Okay, so I'm not doing it quite as well as before. I have sustained a little bit of damage.
Done and done.
If I take all of my damage, I'll respawn at the rift, but I'll lose a bunch of life energy, or energy from the rift, I should say. So I don't want to do that just yet. So I want to pay a little bit more attention. Oh, we have a new enemy coming through. These guys can shoot you. So luckily they tend to stop before they shoot you, and they don't do the most damage. So if you can hit them with a headshot or a trap before they get to you,
brutal.
That'd be good.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
And this is where things like archers or more traps, or that zoom. Actually, the zoom on the crossbow would come in handy right now. Let me get some ranged headshots.
Hey, the orcs are shooting back. No fair.
Alright, let's go ahead and drop another one of those there. And hopefully we'll be able to get some more orcs with that. Let's put a spike trap here too. What I want to do is I want to build up this area to a kill box that I don't have to manage, because those archers make it dangerous to be around. And the game hasn't dropped any potions for me yet. Sometimes orcs will drop potions, health potions, to refill a little bit of your health. You shouldn't rely on them though, they're pretty rare.
Bye bye, evil guys.
You might kill 100 orcs and never get one.
Be seeing for traps.
Let's use that. Nope. So I totally missed that one. But that's okay.
That's right.
There we go. Okay. Whew, that one's getting a little tough. Let's go ahead. Let's stop them up just a little bit more. We still have a good amount of money. Let's go ahead and use some more of these. I do like these. They use up a lot of utility space that you just otherwise couldn't do.
That's gonna leave a mark.
I walked right into that one, folks.
Clean up on aisle 3.
So one thing apparently I didn't remember is that between rounds where it actually gives you a moment to breathe, you know, and resell traps, reset things if you need to, it does apparently refill your health, so that's useful, since I was at about 50%, health at the end of that last round.
Ooh, that's gotta hurt. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. decoration.
Go! Go!
Ooh, that's gotta hurt. Ooh,
So
nice.
good amounts of cash inflow like that from things like burners, which hit a lot of space at the same time. Things like spike traps only hit a small area, relatively speaking. They're still useful for guarding areas, but there's a reason they are cheap. And then things like the arrows, they tend to, once an arrow hits an orc, it stops. So you can only get so much damage out of it. You'll already see that my headshot ability is improving. So that'll be helpful. Told you guys it wouldn't take too long to get it back. Now, levels like this, they are here for training purposes. They're there to teach you game mechanics without being too challenging. Oop, that archer almost got me. They're there to teach you game mechanics without being too challenging, so you're not, you shouldn't have to deal with too much trouble. Maybe a couple of early emergency spots before your defenses get fully set up. But at this point, I pretty much have the level on lockdown. Those burners are doing a huge amount of work at filtering out the weaker orcs from coming through, which include those crossbow guys for the most part.
What a mess!
And these arrow traps are doing a lot of work as well.
Bye-bye, evil guys!
The beauty of traps like those, and placing them in a row down the hallway like that, is that any that survive will trigger on the next trap, and if they happen to get killed by that trap, well, your next one in the row is still active, still ready to be triggered by whatever might hit it. So if some orcs should slip through because a trap may be resetting, that's a good opportunity, or that's a good thing that you have your next traps prepared. Again, we still don't quite have enough, and I still want that burner upgrade. You'll find out that it's actually one of my favorite upgrades in this entire game. So we'll go ahead and do another level. See, here is one of those spells that I was talking about. It's technically an item, like those vampiric gauntlets, but just like those, they use up mana as you use them. You'll have two abilities. You can see you have a number 1 and a number 2, and then a number 1 and then another 2. So my favorite way to use the wind belt, and it is a good ability, is that actually alternate fire one, which is a wave of wind, I guess, of energy, pushes everything back in front of you. The first one, I believe, just traps orcs. So useful in emergencies, but I think strategies where you push a wave of them is maybe a little bit more effective.
Not much room to work with here. It's a short walk for the orcs from the gate to the rift. But those acid pits will come in handy.
And so the game right there is telling you that you'll want to push orcs into the acid pit where possible. So you've got these two wide open areas that they'll be walking along, and then you have these wide open areas that they'll be walking along as well. Now, I don't know if the orcs will actually follow that path directly. You'll notice that they actually tend to hug pretty closely here. I should think that they'll come straight along this way. They tend to follow the most direct path. Ooh, so we do have an extra slot, which is useful, because I'm definitely going to equip that wind belt. Now, we have ceilings here, and we have some close-in wall areas, and we have a decent amount of corners that we can trap with things like those arrow shooters. So I'm definitely going to take those. And we'll definitely take that burner. But I'm thinking on this one because you have kind of it's just such a small area that you can really trap. I don't know. I still think those tar pits are probably the best bet right there, because you know you can trap them here, and they never turn off, and then a row of burners right behind it. I think I think that might be the most effective thing to do. Now we can drop 3 of these burners down, and that eats up all 2,400 of our mana, or of our energy, or whatever you want to call it. See, so your arrows aren't going to quite stretch across the entire opening. That might not be a bad thing. We'll have to find out. But we can put 2 rows here, so that'll be important for catching orcs if they sneak through our little kill box right here. But you'll notice that we also can put traps way back there on the wall. They barely reach out into this open space though, so I don't think it'll be useful. Same thing right here. You're going to have that wall, this pillar right here, blocking up a portion of that arrow trap, so I just don't think it's useful. You'll notice that we can't put anything on these, so that won't be useful either. An arrow trap here might be useful. We'll have to see where exactly the orcs like going, but we'll keep that in mind for a future placement. But I think what we're going to do is we'll just go ahead and trap up this entryway with 2 of these, and then we'll put some spike traps down here just to kind of thin out what's going on with those orcs. Let's see, we'll do 1, 2, and 3. It doesn't leave me enough money for anything else I want to do. Ooh, these places might be good for some arrow traps as well. I'll keep that in mind as well. But I think we're set for the time being, so let's go hunt some orcs. And you can see we'll use the wind belt up front first, so you get to see what it does. Here's the primary fire, it pushes, and the secondary one holds, so that'll be fun. So you can see I can actually do quite a bit of crowd control with this, but it hurts my mana pretty quickly. So you can see I'm actually already out, and I can't fire this at all while I'm out of mana. So I'll want to let some traps do some work while my mana recharges. So orcs do like traveling along here. So we'll go ahead and trap up those areas. That's right. So that's good to know. So we can put that there. We'll put one of those there. And that should be good, because these can reach out and touch them as they enter here. So we'll do some sniping. If I can. I'm awful right now. What? Let's get that one. Oh, see, I wasted a bunch of mana there going after orcs that I just couldn't hit. So that's something you want to be careful about with the wind belt, or really any of the spells, because you'll get some other ones later, like fireballs and all sorts of cool stuff. So let's put one here, just to help kill box this area up.
That's how it's done.
Some extra money. Tell you what, let's go ahead and sell that. You'll notice it sold for 100%. Let's put down a burner. I can use my body to funnel orcs through the center column, so the burner can help.
In the face! Brutal!
The wind belt and traps like those acid pits do make for good combo opportunities. The game looks for killing multiple orcs in one shot, So, usually by a player-controlled action rather than a trap. Okay. So, these are for the most part working, but I want to get this kill box fully set up. So I can sell those spike traps if I need to, especially because
the other white meat.
I do want to slow them down and go with my standard strategy here. Tell you what, I think that's good. I think that's good for now, and what we'll just have to do is as soon as we get a little extra money, we'll go ahead and arrow trap up that corner. But we're good for now. And these burners are going to help a lot in making sure that nothing gets too close. That was a nice combo. Oop, out of mana. That would be actually quite interesting if things like mana was underneath the reticle there. So that way it's a little easier to keep track of. But fortunately I don't have that luxury. And it means that I do run out of mana a little too frequently. Let's get some of these up. 1 and 2. Now, whenever you start a wave and your traps are pretty much all reset, you'll find that lining them up across from each other means that they fire at the same time. That's a problem for the first time orcs pass through, but not necessarily the future times, because there will be fewer orcs triggering any future. Let's go back. There'll be fewer orcs triggering any future ones, and so hopefully they'll be offset in the future. There's a whole lot of crossbow one on this one. I don't know if I want to get in here. Yeah, I'm gonna get out. Let's hide around the corner and only get ones that sneak through. Hopefully they don't notice me.
I can do this all day.
Right. No potions, so I'm gonna have to keep that same strategy. To protect myself further, let's go ahead and put one here, and then as soon as I get a little bit more cash, we'll go ahead and put one there as well. Almost walked right into that one.
That's gotta hurt.
And I think these ones won't stretch all the way across. So I think they'll be my next purchases, however. Unless there's another wave. If there's another full set of waves after this one, then I think I'll put down some more spike traps back out front. Those are very helpful at clearing out a couple of the... Oh, I guess it didn't matter. This was the last one on this particular level. $42,000 points. That's a respectable amount. But we finally have enough to upgrade our burners here. Alright. So that is now fully upgraded. We'll get to see how much extra space that those cover. And you'll see that the strategy for using these actually changes. You can actually stagger them every couple of 2x2 grid spaces, so that way they fire in order instead of all at once. You might still want to double layer up a couple ones to target the same area to get extra burn damage through, because there are some a lot higher health enemies later on. But the general strategy for the burners does change from this point forward. Okay, folks, we got time for one more level. Oh, we're getting the Archer Guardian on this level. The Archer Guardians don't have a whole lot of health, so if orcs do get close to them, you'll need to be around to protect them pretty quickly, or use some extra traps to do that. But what's nice about these guys is they have kind of a cone of fire in front of them that includes the air, since there will be airborne enemies later on in the game. And they're useful for putting in little hidey holes that orcs can't get to or don't like to go towards. Orcs will not target Archer Guardians unless they're right in front of them, usually. Usually they'll just walk right past. No one said orcs were smart, that's for sure.
Is it just me, or do these attacks seem more organized these days? Works for me. I like it when all the enemies bunch up for mass slaughtering.
And the knight here does have a point. It is a lot easier when enemies do naturally bunch up. So we have an opening right here that orcs can come through. We actually have another one right here, but you'll see that there is a space up above. You can go up this walkway, and there's a space for archers that can focus on this area, a space for archers to focus on this area, and again, here, and for emergencies here, although I would not recommend putting archers here because they'll pretty much only be shooting at enemies down in this area. And then you can also have a quick access right here. So I don't know which of these doors the bad guys are going to come through, so I'm going to focus my defenses on this area, because that way I can cover all of my different avenues. Some archers right here would actually be pretty useful right now. They are a little expensive to put down, all things considered, but they're very useful, especially if you can keep them out of the way and safe. So we're going to go for our standard strategy like normal, and we've got the arrow walls and the spike traps, but we're going to add in those Archer Guardians. They'll be very useful this level. You'll also see that we're going to have kobold runners. These are very fast enemies. They don't really slip through traps, but if you have traps that cycle, like the arrow walls, they'll throw up a couple pulses of damage. They might be able to slip through with only taking one or two if there's a bunch of them, or if they're guarded by tougher orcs like the warriors here. So these will be a little bit worrisome. They're also surprisingly difficult, at least for me, to shoot. So we'll see what we can do. One thing's for sure though, they don't have a whole lot of health, so they tend to die pretty quickly. So we can actually put archers pretty far away, which is nice. One thing that I didn't really show up until now is you can put traps, or place traps from pretty far away. So if you need to reinforce a section, you don't necessarily have to be there, you just have to see it. So we can actually put traps in here. That'll be useful for later. Again, I don't know if enemies are going to come through that way, so if I focus my defense exactly on this door, and they come through the other one, that'd be bad news. So we've got 2400, so we'll go ahead and put right there. We'll put 2 archers up here for now, and then regardless of what door they come through, an arrow trap. Let's see. Well, I can only put 1 here, so that's no good. Let's put it here, and maybe the archers will take care of them before they get there. And then I can put more on the other side. We have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I did waste a little bit of space there, so let's go ahead and remove that one and put it back. Put another wall trap right there, and we'll see what happens.
Here they come!
Okay, so we do have guys coming through this way. So let's do some target practice, eh?
Kobolds! Ugh. Is there anything worse than dog-sized vermin with a 2-week breeding cycle?
Ooh. So this right here, just extra money.
In the face!
Be seen for traps.
Yeah, that was a pretty easy wave. Let's set up some traps. Let's go ahead and just keep shooting. Now the crossbow archers here can shoot at your own archer guardians, so you want to be careful on levels where they bring a lot of those crossbow archers.
Oh yeah!
You want to put your archers somewhere where they can be protected. So those archers are a pretty good source of damage, but you'll want to use more of them. Just a couple in any given small area is not quite enough.
They're in the South Hall! Ever!
Okay, let's go ahead and throw a couple more up. Just to focus some damage.
My bow is yours.
Oh, not enough, not quite enough money. Okay, so they will be coming through here now. Oh, they'll be coming through both. Ah, crap.
I think I'm gonna be sick. Oh yeah!
So the game will play tricks on you like that,
Like making orcs
and
salsa.
hopefully you'll be able just to use, you know, just some quick reaction time to be able to fix that. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and reanalyze this. They'll be coming through both of these now. Now I could trap up this area, and that might be good use for some spike traps when I have some disposable income. But I think what we'll want to do is just reinforce this hall. I want to get at least one more archer up top, because, like I said, these guys are really good damage per second. They're not terribly vulnerable up here. And then I do like, you will find I do like archer defenses. So we'll go ahead and put a couple guys up here as well.
My bow is yours.
We have a little bit of cash left over for something fun. Let's see, we can put traps there. They're not the best placed, and I believe kobolds might be able to slip underneath them, which is not the best thing. Tell you what, let's go ahead and put a burner. Oh, I thought this would spray a wider area. I might be mistaken then. Maybe it sprays just further along. Like I said, it has been a while since I've been playing these. So this might not actually be the best time to use these. Especially because I can't cover the full width of the hallway until back here again. Okay, let's go ahead and put up some more of these then. Let's put one right here, guard this area, and then we're good to go. So these guys, you'll notice they'll start shooting these folks down here. Oof, I love archers. They are wonderful for creating kill boxes.
You stuck on my fly, you
Oh yeah!
Okay.
Bye, you guys. Yeah, that's gotta hurt.
It's time to set up something a little bit more effective. Let's go ahead and sell that. Let's do
A little
right
present
there.
for you, one for you, and one for you.
Now you notice my archers are safe from those crossbow bolt guys.
Bye-bye.
From their current side. They can't be seen. And that's a good thing. And like I said, those archers can be a bit vulnerable. Ah, I misplaced that one. That's okay.
No, wait, other way around.
We can fix that. Between this wave and the next.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and fix that. And I do have enough
A treat for you.
for a third. Let's trap up here. Ooh, that was effective. And in the future, if we trap up that entire entryway, maybe we'll kill some crossbow guys before they get through and attack the archers. Come on.
They're almost there.
That kobold almost got through. I don't like that. Naughty kobold. Okay, so I didn't need to worry about it too much. Those burners, probably not the most effective in this level because the hallways are pretty wide. Maybe covering one of the entryways with a few might have been useful, but our strategy focused on corralling the bad guys into that corner there. Anyway, this is going to mark the end of this particular episode. We've done a good number of levels and we've showed you the basics. From here on out, enemies are going to get tougher and more plentiful, and we'll keep getting some new toys though. So this is Pickles, or Warlock 7 Razor, signing off for now. See you later, folks.